This is The Space Shot, episode 40 for June 23rd, 2017. Digital Amnesia and Core B1029. Hey everyone, welcome to The Space Shot, your daily space history, pop culture, and news fix. I'm John Molnix.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
SpaceX successfully launched and landed a booster for the second time today, Core B1029. Now this is a cool thing. We're entering the age where we're going to start having to keep track of rocket cores that have been successfully launched by SpaceX. Originally, Core 29 launched the first 10 Iridium NEXT satellites in January of this year and landed on the West Coast drone ship. Just read the instructions. Earlier today, Core 29 launched a second time, delivering Bulgaria Sat-1, then landing a little hard on the East Coast drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. SpaceX is due to launch another time this weekend from Vandenberg Air Force Base, and that will be the second flight of the Iridium NEXT satellites. Today's launch is significant because it shows that SpaceX is making progress for rapid reusability, with the eventual goal being a less than 24-hour turnaround. As of today, SpaceX hasn't announced plans as to when the core that launched today will be relaunched, but I'm hoping we'll see it fly again soon. Also, a huge shout out to the Reddit page r/SpaceXLounge for their excellent Falcon core tracker. Today I want to take a detour from the regular space topics I've been covering to talk about something else. Don't worry, it's related to history and even to space history, so bear with me here. I want to talk about digital amnesia. Well, what is digital amnesia? It's also known as digital obsolescence, but basically, it happens when a file, a website, a piece of computer hardware can no longer be read or function properly, thereby depriving us the ability to read the contents that have been stored in that either physical or digital medium. What I've found in some cases while researching episodes of The Space Shot is that a lot of space mission websites have been left as is. The HTML for the websites dates back to the 1990s and looks pretty basic. Links that used to be functional no longer work, and I've even run into this with blog posts that I've made just a few years ago. Stories that I've linked to, pictures that I've included, they're no longer working properly. Usually the 404 error that you get reads something like, "Sorry, the page you were looking for has moved or no longer exists." In the case of NASA, they get a little cheeky with their error message and say that the cosmic object you were looking for has disappeared beyond the event horizon. Funny, but not exactly the message that a researcher or interested member of the public wants to see. So why am I talking about all of this? Well, digital amnesia can pose a problem to historians and to the public. The ephemeral nature of digital content is a topic that's extremely interesting, and it's something that I try to keep in mind when I'm creating content for the podcast. Before I go today, I want to quote Alexis de Tocqueville here. In his seminal work, Democracy in America, he wrote about the characteristics of the modern society he was viewing firsthand. Quote, "The society of the modern world which I have sought to delineate, and which I seek to judge, has but just come into existence. Time has not yet shaped it into perfect form. The great revolution by which it has been created is not yet over, and amidst the occurrences of our time, it is almost impossible to discern what will pass away with the revolution itself, and what will survive its close. The world which is rising into existence is still half encumbered by the remains of the world which is waning into decay, and amidst the vast perplexity of human affairs, none can say how much of the ancient institutions and former manners will remain, or how much will completely disappear. Although the revolution which is taking place in the social condition, the laws, the opinions, and the feelings of men, it is still very far from being terminated. Yet its results already admit of no comparison with anything that the world has ever before witnessed. I go back from age to age upon the remotest antiquity, but I find no parallel to what is occurring before my eyes. As the past has ceased to throw its light upon the future, the mind of man wanders in obscurity." Now let that sink in for a second. As the past has ceased to throw its light upon the future, the mind of man wanders in obscurity. At times, I fear that digital storage mediums and things like social media don't offer enough permanence to truly leave us with information that we could use in 5, 10, or 15 years from now. Take the example of Snapchat. Their stories feature was essentially copied by Instagram, and the people that have been creating content on Snapchat suddenly had to start over on a different, yet similar platform. With how quickly news and history gets passed through social media, I hope that we don't let the past cease to throw its light upon our future. Tomorrow, we've got meteors, UFOs, and Muos 5. Thank you all for listening to the show. Producing a daily podcast takes a lot of time, as evidenced by the fact that this one's squeaking in right before midnight. I would love if you could take a minute to review the podcast on Apple Podcasts. It would also be awesome if you could subscribe to the podcast and share it with anyone that you know that loves space, history, or pop culture. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.